All right, hey everybody. Today we're going to work with some of my favorite things to work with on the saxophone, tone production. If you haven't already watched the video about all the different parts of the mouthpiece and the ways that we address them physically, please watch that before you do this exercise, because the information contained in that video is going to be very important to doing this exercise. I don't want to say correctly, but the way that I'm asking you to approach it. So make sure and watch that video first and then shoot on over to here and we can work together. So we're going to work with long tones today. And it's just that. You just play long notes. I really don't super agree with that name for this exercise, but it's become so common that we call it that's what I call it. Because I think the name long tones really makes you think that what you're after is duration. And duration is kind of the last thing on my mind when I practice this. What I'm really trying to practice is propagating the sound, like really making the sound start gracefully. And I'm trying to notice all of the things that were necessary in my body to get the sound to start in a nice and easy way. And then also I'm trying to get out of the sound gracefully as well. So I like to think of it as this sort of ramped kind of thing. So say left to right, this is your initiation of the sound, and this is the ending of the sound. So you start with nothing but air. So it starts over here like at nothing, and then it increases the air until the sound starts. And then you sustain the tone for as long as feels right for that moment. And then you also let it die gracefully. So you let it diminish until the point where the sort of the physical requirements are not able to sustain the sound anymore. Okay, so that's the basics of it. We're going to get a little bit more specific, and then we're just going to play. So I want you to think about your process here. I want you to think about everything that happens from the moment you put the horn in your hands, in your mouth, all the way till there's sound starting, and then it dies. Like all the way through that, I want you to think about every step of the process, from picking the horn up to putting the horn down. Main things that I want you to think about are, once you've got the horn in your mouth, I want the first thing to be just seal your lips around the mouthpiece. Don't form an embouchure. Don't get strong in your embouchure yet. So just seal. That's step one. Seal. Step two is blow. So before you even form the embouchure, you blow. Establishing the airstream first before the embouchure sends a message to your body and your brain that the airstream is the number one priority in creating a sound. Very often, I find myself and my students, even my friends, peers, forming the embouchure first, trying to control a sound or an airstream that isn't even present yet. So it's like we're squeezing, clamping down on something that's not even there to join the party yet. So seal first, then blow, then set the embouchure. So it's almost as if the airstream necessitates the embouchure. The airstream almost inadvertently forms the embouchure. So seal, then blow, then set. So I put the horn in my mouth, I seal, then I blow. And if I never set my embouchure, I'll never get a sound here. Doesn't matter how hard I blow. Air will leak out of the sides of my mouth before I'm ever able to make a sound, because there's no support for the reed. So now, if I just add just a tiny bit of of support in the embouchure. A sound comes. And we want to work through that murky business, that like kind of there's sound happening and kind of it's not wanting to come out. We want that present. This is not a pursuit of perfection. This is an investigatory exercise. This is finding what works, and the only way we find what works or teach our brain sort of the all of the right boxes to tick, if that makes sense, is to experience all of it. The brain is processing the stimuli at a rate that we can't even understand. So we give it everything. We just give it the whole thing, mistakes and all, warts and all, and just trust that this work, as hard as it is, as tedious as it is going to result in our ability to more consistently and reliably produce a sound right when we want it. Okay? Now, that being said, I'm playing, as you see, on a 1928 or 29 instrument that is not really well adjusted. My horn's in the shop. It got bent. I'm kind of upset about it, but I'm also excited to get it back because it's going to be better than ever. Love and trust your repairman. So with that being said, this horn is kind of leaky, so all of those warts are really going to be apparent, and I'm kind of excited to show you that, because if my horn were sealing really well, the image would be that you should just be able to like play this really nice pianissimo sound with very little effort. And I'll show you that once I get my horn back. But this will kind of demonstrate sort of some of the work aspect of it a little better maybe than a really well adjusted horn would. So here we go. Let's play some long tones. I'm going to start on low C, which is the one I just played. So this is low C for tenor or B flat instruments. For alto, you don't have this note yet. You can play an octave up from here, which is going to be your low G for alto. So we can talk about breathing at another day, but basically the cycle here that I like to do is I get my horn in playing position, I exhale completely. At the bottom of the exhale, I tell myself to relax. Then I inhale completely. At the top of my inhale, I also tell myself to relax. Then seal my lips, blow, then set the embouchure. Let the sound come and die. And then once the sound dies, that becomes the end of the exhale. I might even need to exhale more. You might find you have breath left, and that's okay. This process will grow your efficient use of breath just naturally, so don't worry about it. So that's the whole process. Exhale, relax. Inhale, relax. Seal, blow, set, sound, dies, relax, repeat. Here we go. Low C for tenor, low G for alto. Okay, now we're going to go up to a note that you alto players have. We're going to do your low C. Tenor players, this is your F. Low F for tenor, low C for alto. Okay, so you see, as I learn to play this instrument, even with its leaks, I'm learning to sort of work with it so that I can achieve more of the sort of Goldilocks zone, is what we refer to it as. You know, like this porridge is too hot, this porridge is too cold, this porridge is just right. So I'm looking for that just right zone of all the ingredients of making a sound. And if I can stay in that place, then the tone, the amount of time that the sound is speaking lengthens. It's not really about effort or more lung capacity, so to speak. It's about efficient playing. My lung capacity is, I don't believe at this point, gonna really change all that much. I mean, I suppose it could, but I'm not really working to grow that all the time. I'm looking to efficiently use the saxophone. And so even with this leaky saxophone, over time, I'm learning what it needs to really make the sound, and I can play longer and longer notes. And a lot of times it's about getting the note to speak sooner. You can hear I'm dumping a lot of air before the sound ever speaks. But I'm not trying to just jump to that moment of the sound speaking. I could, I could sort of overdo it, but then I'm also wasting a lot of effort. I want to get in as gracefully as possible. So that time I actually stopped the long tone just because now I wanted to speak to you. So I could have even gone longer, and you can hear that at the very beginning of that note, I started almost exactly right at the spot where the horn speaks. I didn't waste a whole lot of air before. Now, I'm not telling you to go for that. What I'm telling you is that as you play your instrument in this way, you'll learn more about where that point is, that moment where the airstream and the embouchure support are in the right ratio to each other to get the thing to work. And that will result in the ability to stay in that Goldilocks zone, that just right area longer. Great. I think all of this should be enough to really get you going on a nice long tone practice. Practice it on any and every note. We'll talk sometime later, if you like, about doing long tones on high notes, and how to basically approach it exactly the same. I think some people approach it differently, but I've got some ideas about how to sort of fool yourself into playing in the high end without going sharp. So I hope you enjoyed it. Long tone on. This is my favorite thing to practice. If I could, I would practice an hour of this every day. It really, at the end, will feel like you really know your instrument, and that's just a wonderful feeling. Hey, thanks so much, everybody. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.